Agent 47 is back to complete the IO Interactive smash hit assassination trilogy Hitman.
Keep your head down. I'll take care of this.
But as we delve deeper into uncovering the mystery identities behind Providence, the unanswered questions are starting to pile up, like how are the ICA involved in all of this, and what plans did they have for Grey and Agent 47? Will we even find out in Hitman 3? And is there now a price on Agent 47's head? Well, yeah, of course there is. It's right on the back of it. You can't really miss it, really.
Hold on, I got a coupon for that.
All of your weapons and actions carry over from the previous Hitman games, which is a nice little consideration for those who've invested time into this trilogy because it started off as episodic releases. This final entry into the series has some of the expected meaningful moments that bring closure to the series within Hitman 1 and 2, asking so many questions, and Hitman 3 is finally answering them. If you've played Hitman 1 and 2 before, then it's more of the same really, with just a bigger helping of everything. Freedom and creative ways to assassinate a target in a sandbox world is the foundation of the previous two games, and nothing has changed in that regard. We're still able to use pretty much anything we want as a weapon, speak to a certain individual before slipping away to knock out or kill some poor unsuspecting victim, to then disguise ourselves in that person's clothes, and Agent 47's about as subtle as a fart in a library. The level design to these sandboxes are done fantastically well, as they were in Hitman 1 and 2, but it just feels like so much more time and effort had been poured into the designs, with another healthy dose of detail, even more verticality, and a hugely varying colour palette to please the eye. Starting in the heavens of Dubai, penetrating the world's tallest skyscraper, working your way through a gloomy and miserable looking English manor, Chongqing's brightly lit neon lights showcasing some fantastic reflections beaming off the drenched tarmac. Then there's the alluring sunset disappearing behind the Mendoza Mountains at a vineyard mansion based in Argentina. These settings are incredible. They all have so much detail, so much contrast and variety from one another. I almost forgot my favourite level, Berlin's strobe-riddled, bouncing nightclub, which not only was the perfect opportunity for Agent 47 to eliminate his target, it also provided him the opportunity to take a much-needed breather from the life of an assassin and, you know, just let his hair down. How you approach your target is still jam-packed with options, but the targeted individuals are all so susceptible to Agent 47's figurative and literal crosshairs because they must all be using the same shitty security agency. I think the security agency is called Gobshite Security Dudes Are Us because they're all so unusually loud-mouthed and constantly giving away their employer's position. There's plenty of daft and ludicrous methods of approach though, where you can still wipe out the entire roster of NPCs clean off the map, or some of my favourite or more subtle, pragmatic and tactical approaches with timing, patience and maybe the odd cheeky reloading of a quick save, which is still proving to be an essential part of the latest Hitman series. Or you could just slip in and slip out thanks to the pretty inattentive and easily duped AI. The AI's not really been improved on since Hitman 1 and 2 in all honesty, but I'd argue that the AI is actually tuned for the open-ended creativity at the player's disposal, because changing this world would likely corner you into a certain playstyle, whereas this ridiculous AI keeps all lanes open to finish the mission however you want, whether that's speed running and gunning or spending hours and hours perfecting a meticulous and immensely satisfying undetectable playthrough. It's up to you. One thing I will say on the gameplay side of things is if you want to just blast your way through, IO haven't really refined the gunplay side of things. It's still very loose and the feedback isn't really there, unfortunately. Another little issue is the fluidity of the stealth animations, not always being able to hug the wall when I want to, and vaulting over something immediately being crouched on the other side just isn't helpful at all when I just want to sprint. It got infuriating at times. A little bit more fluidity to these animations would have been nice. The game's audio is pretty nice though, with a brilliant, a hugely impactful orchestral soundtrack, which is amazing as it is. In all honesty, it doesn't always feel at home with some of the ridiculous things that you can do in this game. The voice acting carries over from the previous games and it's as solid as ever, with the spatial distancing of the dialogue as well as other effects all feel nicely tuned as a believable part of the world. There's side missions to tackle as well as other game modes like contracts and sniper missions that are still alive and kicking in the game, and that is until Agent 47 has dealt with the targets in them, of course. Hitman 3 has a subjective amount of hours available to the player though. Personally, I take my time through each mission and try to uncover as much as I can in one playthrough of that mission. This way though is likely going to reduce the amount of time you can get out of Hitman 3 because it's just not possible to do everything there is to do in one mission in a single playthrough. It's designed to be played through again and again in various ways. That's not really what I enjoy doing personally, and that's not to take away from the first time experience at all, because it's incredible and so rewarding in every Hitman game. But if replayability isn't that high on your agenda for what you want from a game, then take your time with this one, because each mission otherwise will be over in a flash. A large portion of the game is dependent on being online too, and I'm not a big fan of that in all honesty, and when it first released this was an issue because the servers were continuously cutting out, but thankfully they do work now and the patch seems to have smoothened out quite a few of those issues. Hitman 3 is more of the same and I'm extremely happy with that. It's a franchise that's evolved very little mechanically over the years compared to other franchises, but that's a testament to how good the formula of Hitman games are to begin with. There's a subjective side to the Hitman series in terms of how much value you get out of the game, and that generic logic can technically be applied to any game, but I think it's open for debate how much time you can really sink into a Hitman game without calling it repetitive. I still love messing around with the variety of methods in which you can take out each target, and the self-aware, light-hearted nature of the moment-to-moment gameplay is just as fun as ever. It's a definite buy in my opinion, currently $20 to $25 on console and PC. Let me know what you guys think of the Hitman series though. On the whole, how does Hitman 3 compare to the previous two entries into the trilogy? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.